Ms. Moore is recognized for questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and I do want to thank our panel for joining us today for this very important hearing. I want to ask a question really very quickly of you, Mr. Melancon, with the National Skills Coalition. The Joint Economic Committee said that we had testimony before that committee that said that there's not really a energy-related something or another, that these really are an aggregation of skill sets that we're already promoting. Like you talked about trucking, HVAC workers, and I'm wondering, plumbers, electrical workers, welders. How do you, just very quickly, because I have other questions for others, what is the plan to take advantage of this critical mass of people who are out there? They don't necessarily know that these energy-related opportunities exist, and to be able to steer people in the direction without wasting a lot of time and money.
Well, the key opportunity is just bringing exposure. So it's just working in the local communities and working with the employers, and also with the the K through 12 system, and also with your post-secondary system, is expose parents and other young adults about these career pathways. But traditionally, there are going to be traditional crafts that just have a future side to them, and like electrical, solar, and so forth. So it's just bringing exposure. I'm a big fan of the service corps that the Department of Energy has just deployed out on that. That brings exposure to kids and adults about these green opportunities.
Thank you so much for that. I do want to share with the committee that I hail from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And so very clearly, I was in the state legislature in 1989 when we voted for school choice. I voted for it. And I'm very, very close personal friends with people like Dr. Howard Fuller, with the late, great State Representative Polly Williams, people who took the initiative to put this program together. Back in college at Marquette University, Reverend Father Virgil Bloom had me doing research on school choice, so I know an awful lot about it. Now, having said that, just let me say this. Dr. DeAngelis, I couldn't agree with you more, that the biggest problem with public schooling is the feudalistic system that it's based on. You know, if you live in 53206 in Milwaukee, North Division High School, where I went to high school, you know, you're gonna get to the 11th grade like I did and not have a proper chem lab so that you can do the experiments in it. That is the greatest form of discrimination. What I would say, though, is that school choice compounds that. And when I look at this bill that you're proposing to provide tax credits, this is a different structure than we have in Milwaukee. But what I see here are a couple of things. First of all, I think when you've talked on and on and on about being able to align your values with it, so that if I'm a donor, say I give to the Lutherans, I love the Lutherans because they donate and donate. So if I donate to the Lutherans, there's nothing in this bill that would prevent them from providing these scholarships to Lutherans as opposed to other children, and not discriminating against them. What I found in Milwaukee, after having voted for this, is that the count day, as you talked about, is that third Friday in September. And what happens is that the charter schools get the kids in, and when they find that they have disabilities or behavioral problems or other things, they dismiss them after that count. The public school has to take them back, and they get to keep the money for 3 years after they kick them out. And so, yes, it does decrease the amount of money that public schools have. Public schools, there is, when we talk about it's not the public's money, well, the public there are not elected officials that are on the boards of many of these schools. And I do think that there is a great deal of accountability problems. I can see that I am running out of time in more ways than one. But I've been around a long time, and I fought against schools that have had rapist as the principal, everything. I just want to, before I close, I want to tell you how very proud we are of you, Ms. Varma. And I also want to say to you, Ms. Sedler, you get it. Parental involvement is the basic key ingredient to making sure that your kids succeed. Noticing what they're gifted at, that they're talented at, and kids can succeed in everything. And with regard to my other colleagues, I think they're gone for the quorum call, talking about they know what to do because they're grandmothers. Hey, I'm a great-grandmother. And I think that every child, no matter where they live, ought to have an opportunity. And you ought not have to siphon money away from the greatest democratizing institution in our country, and that's a public education, that you can walk down the street anywhere you live, down the dirt road, and learn algebra in the 8th grade. That's where we need to be heading. And not, these, I got 30 more seconds. Let me
No, you're a minute over, and there's only 9 of us that aren't at the quorum, counting you and I. We're 2 of the 9.
Oh, and they need our vote, right?
Yes, so.
Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your indulgence, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you to
Moore.
all my colleagues. You're listening to me.
I enjoyed every bit of it. I want to thank you all.